many of them do, but by no means all. Vanessa Thornton reports.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is not America. This is Watford, England, 15 miles from Hyde Park Corner. And the students that you've just seen giving the Pledge of Allegiance at a special assembly are a few of the 9,000 American children living in Britain. Here and now has come to one of the two American high schools that are operating in this country, the other one's at Lake and Heath, where everything is run for the kids on exactly the same lines as it is back home in the States.
Central High Bobcats can't be beat. They got the pads on their shoulders and the wings on their feet. They can pass and they can kick and they never do mind. And they leave the other team far behind.
In the cafeteria, the food is served up American style and paid for in American money. Students, incidentally that's what they're called, not pupils, number some 625. Their ages between 14 and 18. In most cases, their parents are serving with the U.S. Air Force over here, but quite a few of the children's parents are employed by American firms that are operating in Britain. The principal of the school is Mr. Matthews. Mr. Matthews, can I send my child to this school?
Well, I'm afraid it would not be too practical. You see, this is an Air Force, American Air Force dependent high school. It's designed to take care of the children of the military people working over here in England. We do, however, have some civilians, that is American civilians, who come here to school, send their children, and they pay tuition for the year of approximately 110 guineas.
Do most of your students live locally?
Oh, by no means. Nearest locations are Ruislip and Carpenter's Park, but we have 21 buses who travel all over the London area each morning and evening, bringing the students in the morning and, of course, taking them home again at night. Some of our students live as far out as High Wycombe, Virginia Water, and these boys and girls have to leave home to be on the bus at 7 o'clock in the morning. This, of course, means a 2-hour ride each way for them.
Well, that's rather a long day. Do they have any work to do after school hours?
Yes, they do have work to do after school hours. We expect each student to do approximately 2 hours homework at night after his day's work in school.
Well, wouldn't it be better all round if they attended British schools, or must their parents send them to this?
Well, there's nothing compulsory about it. There are perhaps 2,000 American children in British schools at the moment, but these are usually in the lower grades, the elementary levels. When it comes to high school, these students come here for a 1, 2, or 3-year period. And of course, we must gear our curriculum to meet their needs so that when they go back to the States or are transferred to some other part on the continent where a base is located for our service people, that they will fit in to that particular school, which should be much like our own school here.
Now, we're going through this in a chronological order. So we'll go back to 1807.
There's a marked difference in general atmosphere to a British classroom, even with the younger pupils. Students are more than just taught. They are exposed to learning. There are no exams as such, no GCEs or 11+. Students have periodic tests and reports are sent to their parents every 6 weeks. But they must gain a school-leaving diploma in order to go on to college. This is awarded provided that they've maintained a certain standard during their 4 years at high school.
We had very few trained men in the Army, and financially, we were in no position to declare war on any country.
There's no school uniform, but the student handbook says girls take their collars out before coming to school and their headscarves off before going to class. Senior students have a traditional dress-up day once a week to encourage underclassmen. Boy and girl relationships, being inevitable, are viewed with commendable understanding. School rules say a boy may hold a girl's hand, but he may not put his arm round her. Well, not in school hours anyway. Pretty strenuous stuff. What other sports are played at the school?
Well, we play American football for about 2 months, and then later on basketball and baseball.
Well, these are all American games. Do you find it difficult to get teams to play against over here?
Yes, it is quite a problem. With American football, we play against a team from Lakenheath and others flown over from the continent. With basketball, it's a little simpler, though, because netball is very similar to basketball, and it's getting to be quite a popular sport over here.
Do any of you feel that there are disadvantages to living in Britain and going to an all-American school?
Well, if I was much younger, I would definitely go to a British school. But once you reach high school age, it's a necessity to go to an American school so that once we return to the States, we can be admitted into an American college or university. But I'm not all that sure that there are so many differences between American and British school children. We all like to do the same things.
Well, we're often compared to movie stars, and I think this is rather unfair because then most people think that we're very wealthy, which is not always true, and they have this idea that we live in a kind of glamorous world, and that isn't true either.
One big difference that I find is that I'm constantly conscious that I'm a guest in this country. I haven't really found the British people to be anti-American, but I do realize that I'm constantly judged and that my country will be judged, and I have to act accordingly.
It seems to me that you take school much more seriously than British teenagers do, and yet you have more freedom than they have.
Well, I think probably that's true. We're given this more freedom in a form of responsibility, and this is partly why I appreciate and enjoy school so much. This responsibility comes in the form of clubs and other activities that we have. We, like our classes, we have officers, and this I enjoy very much. And I feel that if we're treated like adults, we can act like adults. Of course, we have our counselors, too, which we appreciate very much. They kind of fill that gap between high school and college, and we owe the school very much.
Dating is allowed, I'm told. Are any of you going steady?
Yes, I am. But dating over in England isn't as prevalent as it is back in the States because over here we all live so far apart, it's hard to get together.
Well, what exactly do you mean when you say you're going steady?
Well, contrary to what most British believe, it's not a pre-engagement. We exchange rings. Sometimes the girl wears it around her neck, that's usual. Sometimes on a bracelet or on her finger. It's nothing permanent. In fact, some people may go steady half a dozen or 8 times in their 4 years of high school.
Well, thank you very much, and you better get back to your game because there's the whistle blowing. Mr. Matthews is rightly very proud of his library, containing over 5,000 reference books. Students can study here on their own, provided they bring a signed form from their teacher. With room for about 70 at a time, the library is one of the largest in the European military area.
Here we're going to do is fight. We're going to have 3 on the left and 3 on the right.
Tell me, what precisely is the job of a cheerleader?
Well, a cheerleader is supposed to promote school spirit and to let the football team and any other team we're cheering for let them know we're behind them all the way.
Well, how are cheerleaders chosen?
If a girl wants to be a cheerleader, she tries out in front of the representatives from the student body and a few teachers. And these people choose 12, and these 12 try out in front of the student body, and the student body picks 7, who are the final cheerleaders.
Oh, I see. Well, I believe you worked out a special cheer for us for Here and Now. Can we hear it?
Pleasure.
We're on Here Now, couldn't be prouder. If you can't hear us now, we'll yell a little louder. We're on Here Now, couldn't be prouder. If you can't hear us now, we'll yell a little louder. H-E-R-E-A-N-D-N-O-W. Yay!
Well, I must say that this cheerleading, I think, is the thing for brighter British football. On behalf of Here and Now, thank you very much for the cheers. Good night.
Piece of America on English soil. Its inhabitants, 622 American people, and their activities wholly American in every detail. The place, Central High School, Bushey. Here are 2 of its population, Dee and Steve, both age 17. How far do you have to come on the bus each day, Dee?
I come about 20 minutes.
I travel about 35. Some of the students, however, come from Camberley, and they travel 2 hours each way.
Well, why travel so far just to come to an American school?
Well, since we're only here temporarily and we'll be going back to university in America, we need to continue in an American school.
Because you'd be in a rough mess if you went to New York and tried to get to America.
Because the 2 systems are so different.
Which part of the states are you from?
South Carolina.
I come from Virginia.
Is the way of life in general very different?
I don't think so, really.
I think quite similar.
We'll have a talk about that later on anyway. What classes do you have this morning?
I have Spanish, economics, and gym.
Well, can we train around with you, do you think?
Oh, yes, do.
Good.
Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Después de caminar todo el día, llegaron al lago y fueron a pasar la noche en un hotel cerca de allí.
Bueno, traduzca, por favor.
One day, 2 North American tourists, a very tall man and his wife, a very fat lady, left the city of Guatemala in an automobile to visit the Indian town surrounding the Atitlan Lake. After traveling all day, they came to the lake and were going to pass the night in a hotel nearby.
Fine. Bueno.
People, we're going to begin our lesson today on the Cavalier poets. And the first of the Cavaliers that we're going to look at is Richard Lovelace. Steve, I wonder if you would read for us To Lucasta on Going to the Wars.
Tell me not, sweet Diamond kind, that from the memory of thy chaste breast and quiet mind to war and arms I fly. True, a new mistress now I chase, the first foe in the field, and with a stronger faith embrace a sword, a horse, a shield. Yet this inconstancy is such as thou too shalt adore. I could not love thee, dear, so much, loved I not honor more.
And the buses are loading, ready for the homeward journey. A little earlier on, as I was listening to you singing that old Negro spiritual, I wondered if, in fact, it is a lonesome road for an American here in Britain.
Well, I don't really think so. I know I've enjoyed my time in Britain a great deal. I have a lot of fun here. I like it.
I've enjoyed my stay here, too.
Do you mix much with the English people?
I don't. I find I don't have very much time to. I usually stay after school wrestling and spend my weekend studying.
Well, I don't think it's always easy to meet English people my age, you know, if you don't go to school with them. But I do know the English people that live near me at home, and they are good friends of mine.
Do you compare notes about school?
Oh, yes,
Any differences there you could point out?
Well, I think generally the whole system seems to be different to me. I think we concentrate on one course for a certain amount of time and then leave it and go to another. And I think we have our classes every day, and most English schools don't.
What are you going to do when you leave?
Well, I go to university next year, in America. And then after that, I'm not sure what I'll do.
What about you?
I'll be going to a university in America and studying, and I'll probably join the Navy. I'll be going to NROTC, which is a training school, and join the Navy shortly after that and study as far as I can.
What about differences in general in way of life between America and here?
Well, I don't know that there are tremendous differences. It seems to me that most girls my age, anyway, would be out of school by now and probably working.
Would you rather be doing that?
Well, I don't think so. I like my school.
I think your bus is just time to go.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.